You're on?
Sorry. That's funny.
All right, it's 9 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call our special meeting to order. Start with our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to the adoption of the agenda. Any additions? We got all 7, so we could have additions if you needed one, but any additions or deletions? Not, the agenda will stand approved as presented. There's public comment, no one public, and their new business is discussion on the clerk salary. It has come to our attention. Jenny had put together a whole summary of most of the county clerks, and this is this year's pay, correct?
Yes, 2023.
And you can see where we fall. We're one of the larger townships in the county, both population-wise and voter-wise and SEV-wise, but we're one of the lower ones as far as pay for clerks. I don't know if some of the other townships had already made adjustments for the 9 days of voting and things like that, but the clerk's job has changed considerably in this last year. So, we've been kicking things around, and just I'd like to do something. Reason for have a special meeting was I'd like to have it become, if we do something, effective May 1st. That way, because the next election starts pretty quick with the preparation and so on and so forth. So what we've been looking at is taking the current salary, which is $35,738, and bumping it up to $45,738. That puts her in line with the Elbas and the Drydens and the Metamoras and the Oregons and so on and so forth. And but I guess that's open for discussion. So I guess I'd open it up for anybody that might want to have any comments. Just so that everybody knows, we can't do stipends or additional monies for statutory duties. So, but we can change the pay if the job has changed, which it has considerably. Also included in here that we need to consider is the board years and years and years ago assigned the FOIAs to the clerk, and our FOIAs have just gone crazy the last year, and I don't see that changing anytime soon with the whole what's going on in the whole country, not just in Elmont Township, but the whole country. People are going crazy on this whole thing. So open it up.
Well, I just want to say that our base salaries through the years, I've been here a while too. So through the years, we had the salary report before, but we only gave ourselves like a little percentage increases looking at that base salary. We never put together all the monies that the other townships get as far as pensions and things like that. So we didn't know I didn't know anyways, that was included. It wasn't included in that. So when Jenny did this, that's what jumps everything up. So to be even, we don't have a pension. We only got a little bit of our insurances and stuff. So that was the thinking through the years, that we just gave that little bit of increase so we're still lower than the rest of the county. So that's just an explanation for what we used to do.
Yeah.
We've done all this time.
Yeah, I mean, what the proposal would be, it only gets the salary back there.
Oh, yeah.
We're still way down below because of what you're talking
Just
about there
that,
with
yeah,
the
because
pension and the benefits.
included, or we don't get a pension or anything. So that's all. I just wanted to. And I've been in the office during the February elections, and they're crazy. The state didn't give them all the information to handle things smoothly, so they put in a lot between her and Jennifer. They put in a lot of hours, a lot of hours, and there's a lot to it. And they did a great job. But the position is, as Paul said, we do need to increase the position to get that going, to bring it up to not even total standards of the rest of the county, but somewhat. So.
Just so everyone knows, I guess I'd like the record to reflect that the Michigan Township Association endorses across the board's raises for clerks because of the election process that we're now into. And I think it's appropriate, I agree, and the figure we're looking at, when I compare it to other townships, very similar, their taxable values are considerably less, and yet they're making more than our clerk is, which is, quite a contrast. I would just propose, even though we're in a special meeting, that maybe we put it off for our budget hearing, which would be the normal time for increasing salaries. That's only a couple of weeks away, I think, right?
Yeah, it's on what, the 13th or something like that.
Right.
The only reason I was looking at is to do something, starting in May, because the election stuff is going to be starting in May. Her preparation and, for absentee, and so getting all that stuff. And, that way it could start for the entire, month of May. That was the thought behind the May 1st,
Raise in of itself, I'm not necessarily opposed to. I think it's, when you do the comparatively, look at it here, it looks to be appropriate. I just, and it's just my feelings, I would prefer to put it off until our budget hearing, which is May 13th. But that being said, that's all I have to say.
I asked Roberta this question when we were in our building committee thing. How do we make sure that, let's say there's a write-in that comes in that that somehow wins an election against her? Can we specify that if somebody else comes in there in that position, that Jenny is very good at what she does. I have no problem with this raise at all. None. I just want to make sure that it would be in her basket.
the way the law is written, it's the job. We're doing
okay.
it. We're doing it for the job.
That was my own question that I had. I just wanted to make sure.
The rates can't change. They can only change at the end of a term. You can't decrease the salary during a term. So if this starts, it continues on into July, then that starts the 4-year term.
Okay.
So for the next 4 years, that salary, couldn't be decreased until the term ends. And then if the job changes, then you can, reduce the salary.
I guess my thoughts are that the position, I'm just going to talk about in terms of the position, I'm not going to name names because we're doing this for the position. It has increased dramatically. So is it worth a 30% increase? Probably it is. So I don't have a problem with that. My problem or my concern is that I think we should follow the regular budget process. And to what Gary said, let's talk about it at the budget hearing. Let's put it into effect. But that wouldn't start then until November, am I right? That increase in salary.
No, it'd start in July then, and if we,
Okay.
well, we could, yeah, because if you're gonna put it into next year's budget, that starts in July.
So that's
So-
the term.
Yeah.
And I think that in the interest of transparency, I don't like doing something like this at a special board meeting. I believe that it should be in a more, a more normal forum. Again, I don't have a problem with the increase at all. But if we could just hold it, talk about it in the public hearing, like Gary mentioned, and go from there. However, is there a way, because there is a lot of extra time involved that the clerk and her staff put in, she should be reimbursed for that, because this
She
is,
can't be.
the increase in work is
She
dramatic.
can't be reimbursed for anything because she's on the ballot, so she can't even be an election inspector like she was for the primary.
Okay,
So, that way, this way, she's got to be here as the clerk.
mhm.
And, it would, for all 9 days, including the 10th day, and there would be no increase whatsoever for that, that election.
Is there a way we could approve half of it today and then the other half for the next fiscal year? That way, this half would cover all the work they've got to do before.
Right, I mean, you could do it in
get
2
that
steps if you
preparation.
wanted. You'd increase it up to 40,000 and then 45,000 in July 1. It could be done that way, but it sounds, we've got, a couple that are talking about that they don't like doing it in a special meeting.
Yes,
So
I understand.
that's,
Yeah, I
that'd be the
understand.
same reasoning, I would assume anyway, that no matter, it's not the amount, it's the process, we'll call it.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. So,
So I had that same concern about doing it at a special meeting. However, now the fact that we're live on YouTube and anyone can go back and see it, this is not like we met outside of anybody that could see this or do anything about it.
Right.
It was posted 18 hours or
Yes, it
whatever
was.
ahead of time. We did follow the process. So there's that. I mean, there's both sides of that coin. But I also do see the strength behind it on doing it at the budget meeting as well. So as far as the raise, I'm 100% in favor of this. I thought that this was pretty bad off for a while. I mentioned this to Jenny even months ago and said, this is, even if she ran, if she didn't run, it doesn't matter. We need to be able to pay our people in such a way that the job, somebody's going to want to run for that job, for one, and two, that they're going to want to stay there. It's 2024. It's an electronic world. There's a lot of things going on. It's not just the election. It's not just the FOIAs. The job has changed. So what we've done, or the board has done over the years, is basically like a small cost of living type situation. And that's where the two lines have run away from each other on a graph, where the job has changed. So that's why I would be in 100% support of this. So honestly, I don't care if we do it now or at the budget meeting. I see both sides of it, but based on the fact that what we're doing is live on YouTube and someone can go back and see that, it's not like we're doing it behind anyone's back.
No.
As far as I'm concerned.
The transparency is there.
It's there.
I'd like to hear from Jenny. This is,
So I did give you guys a breakdown of like my days. Like I deducted out my regular hours, but I had an extra 190 hours for the presidential primary, which when at the last clerk's meeting, the majority of us had an extra like 200 hours for the election. So the job has definitely changed. After doing the spreadsheet that I did, I just was floored that we are almost the highest population and we are the second to lowest paid when you break it down per hour. So that kind of floored me, and again, we're also the highest taxable value, yet these people that are half our taxable value are making way more than here. And I just, felt like we should be more in line with the rest of Lapeer County. It's not, and I'm not even asking for what the top person gets. I'm just asking to fall in the middle for the job. Yeah, FOIAs, I mean, besides election stuff, FOIAs have been, I think I've had 40 since I took over in July, which Carol said she didn't think she had 40 the entire time she was here. So on top of that.
And they're not small FOIAs.
And they're not small FOIAs. And yes, I'm just the coordinator of it, but I mean, we do try to help when there are those huge FOIAs between me and my deputy to help take care of that. So after doing this, I was like, ooh, like it's low. And I mean, I just went by the hours these are open, but there are some of these townships that I know the clerks and they don't work those full hours either. So that's why I broke it down by an hourly rate just to see. So I just wanted to, I did one for treasurer, I did one for supervisor, I did one for trustee. So you guys had the whole packet of everybody and where we all fall. We are on the lower end, but I think it was because you guys always just looked at base salary. And yes, there it seems like we fell in the middle, but with the pensions and stuff, yes, they don't get it that year, but they're getting that money every year. So I guess I just want to know, is there a raise that's available? Because it is so low compared to everyone else.
I'm glad you did the comparison because with the change in duties, the job has increased. It deserves to be reassessed.
And I'm
And
assuming
increased.
most of these are, at our clerks meeting, they all said they're asking for more money. So this is what was these are 2023s.
Three numbers.
So these are probably all
Gonna go.
gonna go up because everyone's asking for more because of how much extra work these 9 days are.
We always have known that we were on the low end. We always have known that, but we didn't realize we were this low.
Well, things have changed. I mean,
Right.
times have changed too. It's hard enough to get someone to work at a normal job at a shop or something like that. And this job, who really wants to sign up for this? I mean, you get beat up quite a bit. So
When would the new budget, you said July, the new budget would go into effect? The first part of July?
July 1, there's our
July
fiscal
1.
year.
Okay.
What about a
So 2
motion
months and 8
today
weeks.
to have the board tentatively approve this for our budget, to agree upon the set rates here for our next, at our budget hearing? If the input was put out there today and we went to a vote to carry it on to our next meeting to give some direction of what we're all thinking, I don't know. She deserves it. I'm not saying she does not. So I kind of like the idea about doing it at the budget hearing, but I understand it's.
Well, we wouldn't do it at the budget hearing. The resolution would come in June, at the June meeting, because the budget hearing is where we're.
But the
working
budget
on the
workshop,
budget.
and we could
It would
address
be-
it there and put that number in there.
Yeah.
Resolution would be the month later.
It'd be in June when we approve the budget. Correct.
So the increase would go in the first of July. So that's 8 weeks away. So actually the timing is really good. The budget is right at, what is it, 2 weeks? It's our next budget.
Or
That's
2
our-
weeks from Monday, yeah.
So it's 2 weeks from Monday. I like what you're saying.
But it doesn't help. I mean, we're gonna have election stuff, starting probably late May, early June, and pretty much for the whole month of June, which
Yeah.
is basically time that she's, additional time that she could be putting in that is not compensated for.
So as far as waiting till the budget workshop, that is just to acknowledge that we have the money in the budget? I'm just asking the question because we have a pretty healthy fund balance. We know that we have the money to do this without getting into the budget.
According to what Gary said, he wanted to wait because he didn't like doing it at a special meeting. And
It's like the
I think Kim
I agreed with that.
agreed with that. So if we don't want to do it at a special meeting, I guess we probably, just thinking out loud here, I don't know that anything would stop us from, at our regular meeting in May,
To do it then?
to do it then. But I don't know, what I don't know is if it can be retroactive to May 1st, but it could be from the 13th on.
Yes.
If we did it effective that
Yes,
night.
well, that could be part of the motion.
Right, and I
I just don't know legally if it could be retro.
Well, we got time to research it.
I have no problem with that at all.
I think it appears that the board agrees that the wage adjustment, I like to call it a wage adjustment
Right.
rather than a raise necessarily, but wage adjustment is in order.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think we're all.
I think we're all in agreement with that and with the amount. I think that we're all in agreement there. It's just that
I just feel that
when we do it,
it makes for a cleaner transition to do it at the budget hearing, that's all.
I don't want to do it at the budget hearing. I want to do it May 8th or May 13th.
Correct.
Yes,
I have no problem.
I have no problem.
And at that time, if we can't make it retro, it'd be effective immediately, that same, on the 13th then.
I would be agreeable. That'd be fine.
That way I'll go ahead and put it in the budget for us to review too,
Yeah.
when we do go to the workshop. At least it's there so you can see, what it does budget wise and everything.
I think that's the right way to do this.
Okay.
I do.
Do we need a motion to table or postpone, or we'll just put it on the regular agenda and?
It'll be on the regular May agenda. I mean, we can we have a motion to table if you'd like, but. I
How
just
about a
ask-
motion
procedural
that
wise.
we're all in agreement to the wage adjustment to be put on the May 13th agenda?
Okay.
How's that?
Okay.
Support.
We have a motion support
Second support.
to place the adjustment to the clerk's salary on the May 13th, 2024 agenda. Does that pretty much summarize it? Any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. So it will be on the May 8th or May 13th agenda for action. And we'll get the information typed up and have the resolution and everything all set to go at that point in time.
Well, can we just, to change gears a little bit, update the rest of the board on our assessor's situation?
Yeah, let's go to public comment first and
Okay.
see if Dennis has anything he wants to say. He's got his glasses up on his forehead, so.
Right, keep them up. I got two things to say. It's refreshing to see 7 members have a civil discussion on any topic. Count on the board is doing that. And the second one, Jenny is talking about, she's kind of in the middle of the road. Elmont Township is the fastest growing community. So when you review this raise adjustment, make sure it's adequate for the future. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you. As far as the Tom and Debbie are concerned, Tom has a contract with us until June 30th of 2025. I have requested from Tom, and I hope that I told him I'd like to have it before the May meeting so we can take action on it then, notifying us that he would be leaving no later than the December 31st, 2024. He would leave earlier than that if we found someone, and he would work with them and so on and so forth. But he would like to work month to month, starting July 1 of this year, 2024. And I told him, I said, I don't see any problem with that as long as you would, stay on until we find somebody here. And he says, yeah, I will be going because I will be in Florida January 1. So that's what it is. I've talked to our attorney and folks like that to see. I guess I would like to, some assessors that we know in the county that do a good job for different townships in the county. I'd like to just, go to them and to see if they have extra time or are looking to increase their workload rather than put it out as an RFP for everybody, because we'll get, we'll spend a lot of time interviewing and everything else with folks that, live in Grand Rapids or wherever, and some of these bigger companies, which I just personally, I would rather work with like a Tom Valentine rather than somebody that the company just assigns somebody to us and they have no allegiance, let's call it, to our township. So if hopefully that meets with everybody, because this board will be acting on it, because have to be done before the new board takes control in November. So it'd have to be done before then, because November and December are big months for Tom and Debbie. They do a lot of work getting prepared for the 2025 assessments. So we will hopefully have a smooth transition over. They're more than willing to help, and it's, they've done us a real good job over the years here.
Are you going to start reaching out right away?
Yeah, I was gonna,
Okay, good.
first of the week, I've got a couple people that I'd like to contact and just to see and then get some of their, what they would propose, as cost and so on and so forth. And then bring these to whoever puts them in, bring to the board, and we will make a decision. And I mean, sooner than later, as far as I'm concerned. Get it done, and then we can work out, at least we know who it is then, and then we can work on timing.
That makes sense to me.
Answer-
Sounds, yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's not a problem.
Tom and Debbie are gonna be very hard to replace.
Yes, yeah, we know that.
They do an
He's, when I
extremely
talked to
good-
our attorney and told her, and she says, wow, she said, because he's been so intimately involved with all of our tribunal cases and everything. And she says that, everything is right there. It's all backed up. Everything is in order. And, those are some of the reasons that we've been able to win our tribunal cases, is because he does do a thorough job and he treats everybody the same. So it makes, it has just been a real pleasure working with him. The length of time that I've been here. So anything else?
No other business, I'd make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
We have a motion support to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. We'll see you on the 13th at 6 o'clock.
Yes, 6.
Did you kill us?
Gotta hold it.